Good afternoon. My name is Bradley Keller, and I'll be talking about how our school curriculum needs to change. You might be wondering, what is a school curriculum? A school curriculum is a set of standards set by a government employee or somebody hired that dictates what a district of schools or a school will be learning. Furthermore, that just helps the teachers and teachers in certain grades know how to teach the students and what to teach them. In the slideshow, though, I'm not arguing that we need to do away with the curriculum. I'm arguing that it needs to change to better fit today's climate. A research project done in 2018 by the Educational Department showed that only 43% of students were actually comprehending the material taught to them. Thus, the 57% of other students weren't comprehending it. They were just memorizing it, a needs be to pass the class, just to get away with it. Therefore, the whole curriculum in itself is failing. It's not doing the purpose it's intended to do. We need to change out this curriculum and place in another set of classes. And some set of classes I think need to be put in are something like life skills. And what are life skills? Life skills are skills you're going to need throughout your whole life. And you've already been using them even though you may not have known it. Life skills are things like communication and stress management. To dive more into that, what is communication in itself? We communicate every day. But what the importance of this life skill communication is it's talking about how you as a student can go into a job interview and communicate that you're a good performing person, that you can get the job done and get it done right more than anybody else, that you can communicate to your boss as a good person and show that you're ready for the job. Thus, stress management is something that we're all dealing with right now. And as a student, I can relate to this too. Because I deal with stress all the time. Between classes, family, work, and my own personal stuff, it's a lot of stress that we put on students nowadays. But nothing's taught to deal with any of this stress. And the truth to behold is that later on in life, it gets much more stressful. When you're dealing with work, family, jobs, money, it's way more than this. And a lot of students can't handle this. So how are they going to handle that? Going hand in hand with the life skills, we need time management. This curriculum needs to be teaching kids what they need to be doing, where they need to be going, and how they need to be setting up their life. Students right now wake up because their parents wake them up. They go to certain classes because a teacher told them to do that. They change classes because a bell rings. But later on in life, your parents aren't going to be able to wake you up. A bell's not going to ring every time you need a change from your set. A teacher's not going to be able to help you. And that's a sad factor that none of these kids are ready for that. Kids can't go out and be prepared to set up time, dates, work this day and get off this day. They don't understand that bills have to be paid, and that's a time management responsibility. Because if you don't pay it in a certain time, things will happen consequently to that. With time comes a very time consumption thing, taxes. With taxes, you have your 1040 and your W-4. And a lot of students don't even know what those numbers mean. Better yet, what taxes mean. And what taxes are, it's a set of rules that you have to fill out every year due to government. And what this does is you may receive or have to pay out a portion of money due to your income. But how will students even do this when they don't even know this exists? After grads get their first job and they start making all this money, who's to say that they won't go to jail because they didn't fill out their taxes? It's not their fault. They just never understood that there's a certain thing you have to do. And that's because we're not preparing them for these types of things. But let's say you do get the money in this tax return portion. What do you do with that money? Do you save it? Do you spend it? A research done in 2019 by the IRS administration showed that 83% of students within their first job just spent their paycheck. As they got it, they just spent it. They like new headphones. Well, once they got that paycheck, they blew all their money. And the sad reality is, a lot of us need to be saving because a lot of us aren't well off. We're not Bill Gates' children. We don't have trust funds. And we need to be saving because since we don't have those trust funds, if we don't have parents or anything to help us, then if we get in a car accident or something and our vehicle doesn't work and we have to pay all these medical insurance, what are you going to do with those bills when you've blown all your money? When you have those nice set of headphones, but no money? That's why you save. But kids don't understand that they need to save because schools aren't teaching them to save. They need to understand that you can't just spend everything. And that goes furthermore into banking. What if they do save? What, do they know anything about saving? What if they save all this cash on hand and they get robbed? It's the same thing as not saving because they've lost all their money. As a school, the curriculum needs to be teaching kids on how to do these banking issues as well, because when you get a job, you get a check and you can go cash it out at a bank, yes, but they just give you money. So instead, they need to be learning about credit cards, debit cards, credit scores, because that's the reality. You need a really good credit score to apply for loans to get a house in the future. You need a really good credit score and a good portfolio in order to get a grant for college or something. And that's like right now with senior students, they need these grants and stuff, but they don't have any credit score or any knowledgeable information about this. Because our school curriculum isn't taught to inform these students about this. They aren't taught that in order to save up to buy a new car, you have to have a good credit score. They're not taught these simple lessons. But they're also not taught that you don't have to do this in person. You know, with COVID just happening and we're still sometimes going in and out of being in a pandemic, a lot of things have moved to the digital age. And with that means we've moved away from the pencil and paper type of things. A lot of jobs now require you to go to Google Docs, Words, Excel. And what that means is that a lot of these kids aren't prepared for these jobs. You know, an accountant needs to be able to go to these spreadsheets and document all these things on a guy's portfolio or a person's portfolio. Meanwhile, they're used to pencil and paper. And what that means is, when it comes to math and science as well, when are they going to use this? Yes, our kids need the basic math, the basic science, but as a curriculum, we're getting kids ready for the next step in their life. But there's a lot of things like geometry and biology, kids don't really need to know the anatomy of a human. That's just an extra filler. What that also means is that a lot of kids are taking a lot of these extra courses. Things like history, nobody needs to know who assassinated John F. Kennedy. It's just useless information. Instead, they can be learning about the time management, stress management. It can be really, really crucial to these students. Instead, we're wasting it on all this unrelated math, science, and history. And yes, like I said earlier, they do need their basic math writing, because to be an actual intellect, you need these skills. But the reality of it is, you don't need that extra little bit. Thus, our curriculum is failing us. It's not actually giving kids the chance they need to survive later on in life.